everyone, welcome back to another episode of Absolutely. My name is Benny, that is Sal, and that is Hassan. You are watching the channel Absolutely, where the guys from Comic Story and Comic Pop and Hassan Kader come together to chat about movies, TV shows, and comic books. Today, we'll be discussing the opinions of Madam Web, the movie. I have seen it 7 times. Hassan saw it, I think, 5 times before he passed out. Sal did not see it. We thought this would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I can't end this voice.
I think I'm the one who won out of this one because I didn't see it.
The worst part was you were supposed to. There was a whole talk about you were going to see it and you and I were going to.
I know. We were going to watch it on Twitch and I just didn't.
It just really hurt your heart, didn't it, Ben?
Well,
oh, no, you wait, hold on. So you didn't, just because the Twitch stream went down, that's why you didn't see it?
Did it go down? Because I was going to go look for it. Oh,
it went down the next day.
That makes sense.
It's okay. It's gone down twice. It'll come back up. For those of you who don't know, just like back during the Morbius days, there is a Twitch stream called Madam Web 24/7, where they are looping a bootleg version of Madam Web. And people are watching it in droves because nobody wants to pay for this movie.
Well, that was my argument. I even said it in the video. Normally, I do not tell people to go watch bootlegs. My argument is if you want a product to succeed, you give them your money. I've always said this at the beginning. If you don't like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, don't buy it. Don't talk about it.
Yep.
That's how it goes away. Madam Web is similar. If we don't want Sony to make movies or re-release Madam Web like Morbius, don't pay for it. Don't talk about it.
Yep.
Now, we have to talk about it because it's our job. We don't have that option. But I can avoid paying for it, and I refused to, so I found a bootleg, and it's the first bootleg I have watched in 10 years.
Yeah. Also, to be fair for me, I did go to the theaters to see it. I have AMC stubs, so technically my tickets are free. But even more technically, I picked a different movie every time I went. I never paid for Madam Web. I never will. I hope Sony, that little area just burns down.
Yeah.
I hated that movie so much. That's such a horrible experience.
I don't blame
So
you,
that was my argument. So what happened with me was the Twitch chat was like, hey, Benny, if you don't want to pay for it, here's a bootleg and it's on Twitch. I went to Twitch and I put it up. And then since I knew it was not going to hold my attention. We all know I have ADD. Mm-hmm. Keeping my attention on it, not having it a good movie is bad. So I was like, plan. Here's the plan. I'm going to do something on the side like I always do. But we're going to leave Madam Web up for the day. Just leave it. And through the course of watching it 7 times, I will get
caught it all.
I'll get the whole movie.
Yeah. Versus me, who was in a theater watching it on the big screen with nothing else to hold my attention. No ADHD. I'm not pulling out my phone in the middle of the movie. I had to genuinely watch this product 5 times in a theater. Well, I guess 4 times in a theater. One time I was drugged and I couldn't, sadly.
Yeah.
It was a bummer. I'd watched the bootleg once.
So, yeah, I hit him up and he's like, yeah, I'm watching the one on Twitch too right now.
Yeah. I was, my video, which Benny has his video, I have mine. That mine will come out maybe around the same time as this one, maybe after. But mine was trying to find out how many edibles it takes to make the movie good. I was given the wrong edible on day 3. It was so much so that I couldn't leave the house. So we put the bootleg on the screen here in my house, and I continued to watch it. It's a real bad movie.
So what we thought would be funny, since we both made videos about our personal opinions, which we both hated it. Yeah. The problem I have with it is generally, well, anyway, we thought it'd be funny to tell Sal the story and see what he thinks.
Yeah, tell me how Madam Web turned out. I've gleaned quite a bit from just the internet being like, I hate this. There's
it's worse than the internet portrayed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is the problem with the movie. It's not bad good, like The Room, or even I love Evil Dead, but the original Evil Dead's a terrible movie.
It is not the good kind of bad. It's the bad
where you find
it's the incompetent kind of bad.
There was passion behind the project, and you saw what they were going for, even if it wasn't achieved.
Yeah,
not that kind of bad.
Yeah, I would have loved it if Madam Web was like, we took a risk on a first-time filmmaker, and we gave them $80 million. And he didn't know what lighting was. And he didn't know what sound was. That would be fun because then it's a level of schadenfreude and incompetency that I can get behind.
Yeah.
But this
You're
was
learning on the job and we made a movie out of it.
No, they went out, they made a mediocre movie, and then the studio ruined it more. After the fact, by cutting things out, doing poor ADR, a lackluster...
Cutting up the original plot. So
we have this villain, right? He has no motivation.
Ezekiel
He has
Sims.
no like Ezekiel Sims. It opens with him being Madam Web's mom's bodyguard in the Amazon. Then
Well,
he
she was
steals
researching spiders. Yeah.
while she was researching
In
spiders.
Peru in 1973. Remember, Sal, we're doing a period piece.
Yes, the whole movie takes place in 2003, which
doesn't
I'm sure
play a
there's
part
a
in the
million
story.
anachronisms. I'm sure that the movie, like somebody whips out like their brand new iPhone at some point in the movie.
I'm sure, but the thing is that it's so plot irrelevant that it takes place then that it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
Ezekiel
feel
Sims
like
has
Hassan,
no
that
motivation.
it originally took place in 2003 because the original plot was Ezekiel Sims was trying to kill Spider-Man as a baby. So 2003 was selected as this will work.
Totally.
Right.
Well,
we're gonna have the baby, and then they just never corrected it when we threw out the plot.
Right, because apparently, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was a Terminator movie where it was like, we're going to unmake Spider-Man.
Yes.
And then they went, we can't pick a Spider-Man. We'll make up a new one, or not, and actually we'll change the prophecy so that it's that he's trying to prevent his own murder from these 3 girls.
Right. Which goes to what Hassan said. He has no motivation.
Right.
Yeah,
He
has like
kills
a
the
back
mom in the
half
beginning.
motivation.
He kills the mom, and then we jump to the future. Well, 2003. We jump to, and he's just got money in a suit, and he sees people are going to kill him. We don't know why they're killing him. They don't know.
Well, we know
what
why.
he's
We
doing.
know. So at least this part, we don't know why he went to get the magical spider. We
Right.
know once he had the magical spider, he was cursed to watch how he dies. So he was on the hunt for the girls in his dreams that will kill him.
Right. But what I'm saying is, okay, why are the 3 Spider Women going to kill him?
Because he's cursed.
Well, that's not a good
it.
plot
No,
reason.
it's not. But that's the movie's plot reason. What we're missing is why did he steal it in the first place? But by
we're missing
stealing
that,
the
and we're
spider
also
and not
missing
being given it,
how is he evil that they're going to come kill him? What is he doing? Is he because he's not doing like a Morlun thing where he's sapping spider strength?
No.
He's not doing like I'm an evil dictator who wants to rule the world thing. He's not doing the I'm just going and I'm the guy that destroyed the AIDS cure. There's nothing. He's done nothing. Like he exists to eventually be killed is what we're told. And then that doesn't make sense because the girls are Spider Women. They wouldn't just kill him.
No.
So
No, but it was-
why is this a thing?
Also, I'd like to say Sal called it. Sal called it. He said the scenes we're seeing of them in the suits in the trailer
No, that was me.
will be
No, Benny called this. I said they were going to wear
Ah.
the suits at the end. That the last shot was going to be that they were going to
And
wear
it
the
was.
suits and fight him. But Benny said that they were never going to wear the suits and it was only an alternate reality or something.
okay. So I guess Benny was right. I
No,
didn't really
Benny
want to
called
give him
this
some
one.
praise. That makes
it
me
was
sad.
that's the only scene. And what irritated me was that awesome scene we did see on TikTok of Sydney Sweeney upside down going through all that effort. It's not in the movie.
It's in the
is-
movie.
No,
Is it in the movie? Her upside
but they
down?
spin her right side so you see her hair, so you know it's the scene.
Oh.
But like we don't see the proper full scene they filmed. They zoomed in and did the little weird Vaseline
Yeah.
gloss on it.
Right, it's a
and-
vision as opposed
Guys,
to being.
it was filmed like The Office. Did you guys notice that it was like randomly a mockumentary?
Oh no.
And maybe not because the bootleg version is a lot worse. But in like the regular theater version, the opening scene is this weird, intense moment in the Amazon, whatever, and then you'll just get like camera zooms like this in the middle.
Is it
for
like
no
that
reason.
amazing Mean Girls musical shot where it's like
Yes.
up this poor girl's face and for no reason and there's no other shot like it in the rest of the movie?
Yeah. Which
And
hey,
there's
that
so
was
many
a Spider-Man girl too, and Gowrie Rice. That's our Betty Brant.
That's
to
right.
me.
That's our Betty Brant who looks just like
MCU.
Gwen Stacy for no reason.
Yeah, super bad actors. Whatever.
So we get the spider, mom dies, and then there's like an indigenous tribe. It's just written as in the wiki. I've got it up to make sure I keep the plot straight.
Totally fair.
An indigenous tribe of spider worshipping people who can jump through the trees with spider powers that picks up Cassie's mom's body and runs her to a sacred water hole.
They keep going, the las arañas. It's like a mythical thing. That means spider in Spanish. That's like it's like the mythical spider tribe. You know, the las arañas? And it's like
Yeah.
you're literally just saying the word spider in
Yeah.
Spanish in a Spanish-speaking country.
That's
This
amazing.
isn't magical the way you think it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no, but
they-
it's I'm a Sony executive. I just speaking another language is magical to me. I think
So
it's
for their
amazing.
indigenous spider people, they have white guys painted red with wooden sticks wrapped around them
Mm.
that resemble spider webs. That's literally their indigenous, and they speak perfect English. It's actually kind of crazy because then you have a scene where she comes back there later and
Yeah.
he's just like, "Hey there, how's it going? Yeah, I live in the woods here. Come on, let me tell you about your mom. Your mom died here in childbirth, you know?" And she's just like,
And that was
"Oh."
the we're gonna get to the exposition dump though. So we jump to 2003. Cassie is an EMT, Sal.
Yes.
Everything's normal until she falls in the water and it turns into Final Destination. She can now see her future deaths all happening,
Right. Okay.
which is like 30 minutes of the most figure it the fuck out deja vu. Like they just keep doing this deja vu thing, and Cassie can't figure out that she's looking into the future.
Yeah.
It
I
was
heard
really dumb.
I heard there's a sequence where like we show her learning how her powers work by demonstrating that like a bird flies into her window and like instead of just showing the bird not flying into the window when she opens it, she says, "I guess you didn't have to die after all." Which is
Yeah.
like, why would you say that? Oh, because you think the audience is stupid.
Right.
Yep, and as that's happening, so this is the middle of summer in New York City. New York City has
Yes.
notoriously cold winters, so obviously, if it's hot outside and people are wearing t-shirts, it's not winter,
No.
right? So it's the summer. Dakota Johnson gets sent home to go rest, and she is, "Why don't you just put on an old movie and relax?" The movie of her choosing is A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
The 50s version of A Christmas Carol, where the dialogue is playing of Scrooge going, "Is this what's to come or what may come?"
Oh my God!
And that's
They
happening
couldn't
during
think
that
of
scene.
They either couldn't think of another movie where a
No.
character like changes the future,
Groundhog's Day, Back to the Future.
or more likely they couldn't get the rights to show it.
Nah, I think they just went with the one they could get for free.
Right? Then you could
Yeah.
make it like a quirky thing for her character where it's like
I
she
just
has
love
a couple
Christmas.
she has like an elf on a shelf, like she just loves Christmas, and like so it's like my comfort is I watch Christmas movies, and it's like that's a quirky, fun Dakota Johnson-esque thing for her to do, but no, just I need to demonstrate to the audience in a way that they'll understand the future can be changed without showing Terminator.
Yep. So we go through a whole sequence, her trying to learn how her powers work, right?
Yep.
And then once she figures it out, we cut to Ezekiel. And Ezekiel, I kept listening, Hassan, and this for some reason this part of my bootleg was muddied, so I couldn't figure it out. He has Oracle there. It's this redhead girl
Dude.
who could hack into
Dude.
the NSA
What?
and tell him where the girls are. And I'm like, who is she? What did I miss, Hassan? Or did they just never say it?
No, they never explain it. He goes, "You work for me and I'll make you rich." And then she's like, "We're killing little girls? I didn't know that's not what I signed up for. You'll do what I tell you to,
Yeah.
or I'll make you rich." I don't know I don't know who this actor who dubbed it is.
Right.
What
but
the
it's not
is
him.
wrong with you and where are you from? Wherever that country
What
is,
I
ban it
noticed
off
in
the
that
map.
scene,
I don't like
though-
that accent, dude.
What I noticed in that scene though is Ezekiel's in a full suit, but he's like jumping off the stairs. They're like, remember, I have spider powers.
Did you
Like,
notice? Did you notice that he is barefoot in that suit?
I did not catch on to that.
Okay,
it should
that's
be.
one
Look-
that I.
That's an actual thing. Like in the comics, Ezekiel Sims is like I don't know, the other or something like that. Like he's Spider-Man's like accidental mentor. He whatever,
Right.
doesn't matter. But a thing about Spider-Man is he
He
has
only
to
survived 6 issues, Sal.
True, yeah. Ezekiel's been around for a lot longer than that. But he takes his shoes off to stick. Spider-Man does the same thing. But like, you know, Ezekiel doesn't have a Spider-Man costume, so he just wears a suit. So that's actually a thing. It's just that in the movie, in a movie without Spider-Man, you don't know about, like, it doesn't make any sense.
So here's the issue with that. He has a Spider-Man costume in this movie.
Yes.
One that is never explained.
No.
Where he is wearing suit. Where he's wearing shoes. Where he does have shoes on.
Mhm.
And in the fucking train scene when he goes, sorry, excuse my language. I'm really upset about this movie.
Yeah.
In the train scene where he's going to kill the girls, he is not wearing shoes. He's just barefoot in a suit, and they never explain it. And then the next scene is him just killing cops. They
Yeah.
never
In the
explain
suit
that
though, like he just suddenly gets the suit.
He
Like,
gets a Spider-Man suit on.
Yeah.
He's wearing a regular suit, a 3-piece suit. I guess 2-piece. He's not wearing shoes.
Right.
Keeps walking, and then the next time you see him, he's in this dark Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
Never to be explained as to why.
The girls even acknowledge just no one else see the guy crawling on the
They never.
ceiling.
Oh wait, okay. I might have to refill.
The
my
girls
outro.
acknowledge that. No one else acknowledges the
Okay.
weird guy in the ceiling.
So they say that no one can see him. They never explain why no one can see him. Obviously, he can be seen if he can go to the opera house and pick up an NSA agent and bed her, so he can be seen by other people.
Right.
He doesn't have a camouflage power. They don't say that, you can see him during the sexual table dancing scene later. Yes, Sal. At some point, they leave New York. They leave New York.
Oh,
They
Okay.
go to the woods.
No, you got to
They-
explain why they left New York. You got to explain that part.
Right.
They left New York because they were being chased by him in the subway.
Right, no, so that she could drop 3 random girls whose phones she took away off in the woods because they'll be safer there.
Yeah.
Wait, so they took the phones with them to get rid of them?
No, Cassie takes them away so they can't call for help.
Ah, great.
Yeah. She takes the phones because the guy's tracking them through some NSA 2003 technology. So no phones on them, and then leaves them in the woods, which, I'm not a geographist. I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with New York. Can you drive 20 minutes in the city and end up in the middle of a forest?
Not
A
20
forest-
minutes.
Yeah, not 20 minutes, but
Not 20
hey,
minutes. I mean, like, honestly, this is a thing that Hollywood does because none of them like live on the East Coast anymore. But if you recall in the first Ninja Turtles movie,
yes,
they,
in
like, go-
North Carolina.
yeah, they go to like a I mean like the first Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movie. They go up to like a mountain with like snow, and then they ride down the mountain and end up in Manhattan, and it's like you would see a mountain.
I
And
think
they
you're
show the
talking-
skyline. You'd see it behind the skyline. Like,
I thought we were talking about the first Jim Henson Turtle movie where they do leave the city
they go to North
April's-
Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, they go to April's dad's farm just outside the city.
Just outside. Listen, there are farms outside of the city. They could just go to New Jersey. They don't say specifically where they go, but whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So in Madam Web, it cut to them being in the middle of the woods, these 3 girls, and then you get the most expository, assumption-based conversation you've ever seen, where one girl's just kind of annoying as hell, and the
Yeah.
other girl's like, "It's because your daddy pays for everything." You don't know her.
Right.
It's
These are
true,
random girls that don't
but
know
you
They
each
don't
other.
all just
Nothing.
met each other, and for the record, they don't do
Oh.
anything the entire movie.
They don't do
Yeah.
shit.
They're 3 damsels in distresses. That's it.
Oh, that's
They never unlock any powers during the sequences. They
Nothing.
never, nothing at all. But they're in the woods for a while. They sit for a bit, and then like, remember that diner we saw? Let's go to there, up the street, about a quarter mile away.
Okay.
So then they walk to this diner, and they're like, "Okay, we got to be super secretive while we're here. We don't want to get caught. We don't want anyone to see us. They think we're kidnapped victims. Let's just eat and go." And then you got Sydney Sweeney making horny eyes at a group of actual high school boys, by the way. Like the looks of them, the actress is a woman, a
Right.
26, 27-year-old woman who looks like a woman. These boys were casted correctly as high school boys on a basketball team. And they're looking, and she keeps going, and they're like, "Oh, you want to go talk to him?" No, it's a bad idea. They go. Then at some point, they throw everything that's on their table, their food and all, onto the floor. Toxic by Britney Spears plays, and the 3 girls start gyrating on the table, shaking ass for these guys.
2003.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. hang
Yeah.
on.
He's
So
not
that
wrong. It
happens.
literally looks like the most CW moment you'll ever see.
It was
Yeah.
so stupid.
Only for
I'm
Ezekiel
sorry,
Sims
Platt, you're
to
gonna have to
find
work hard
them,
on this one.
and Cassie to find them. Cassie has a vision of her own death. Now she knows how she's gonna die. Goes in to stop Ezekiel Sims, and they all run.
She
Right,
hits him with
okay.
a car. She hits him with a
Awesome.
cab. Which, by the way, cab. Let's get to the cab. At some point earlier, after the subway sequence, before we get to the woods, how do they get there? They get a car. They get a car because a cab driver is standing outside of his cab to receive his money and like chit-chatting with the woman. So they steal his car. And then when she comes back to Queens later, she pops the license plate off the back. That way they can't tell that this is the cab, right?
Nice.
That's pretty smart. It's pretty smart detail. It's a cab, Sal.
Right.
The license plate numbers on the side of the car and on the roof, and they show it constantly.
Yeah.
But they have the scene of, Pop, I'm a pretty boss lady. God, this movie sucks.
My favorite sequence that happens in this, though, is after they defeat Ezekiel Sims, right?
Yeah.
It's now decided that she's going to run all these girls over to drop them off with Ben Parker, her EMT partner.
Yeah. Now, what's the story with she and Ben? Like, is
Nothing.
the idea that like there's a romance between the two of
No.
them, or
No.
is it just
Ben talks about that he started dating somebody new. Clearly, it's Aunt May, but they don't say her name, and she's excited. They're just really good friends, and they're EMT partners. They just
That's
work.
it.
They're paramedics.
And his sister, I think it's his sister.
It's
Or
sister-in-law.
Yeah,
Sister-in-law is Mary Parker, played by
pregnant.
Emma Roberts. Yeah. So she's 9 months pregnant. There's a scene earlier in the movie where Madam Web is forced to go to a baby shower
yes.
for Mary Parker where she knows nobody,
Right.
and they all make her feel really uncomfortable.
Yep.
At one point, they're like pulling out note cards and reading things that people's moms did for them, and then Mary Parker's guessing whose mom did it for them. Dakota Johnson's Madam Web decides to fold a blank piece of paper and drop it in there instead of not putting anything in there at all.
Right.
And then she opens it and she goes, "Who wrote this? Who wrote this?" And it's like kind of an intense moment of like, who didn't put anything on there? And then it's like, that's
so
me.
weird.
And then they're like,
That's bizarre.
what? You don't have you have to have something fond from your mom? That's such a like uncomfortable question.
Yeah, why would
Don't
you
talk
like
to people.
push it? But why would she instigate
Because
it?
we
Like,
need exposition that she doesn't like her mom.
She was like, yeah,
Right.
my mom died in childbirth. And she like points at Mary Parker, which is actually kind of funny, but you know it was unintentionally funny.
yes.
So that happens earlier. They're really irrelevant. Mary Parker's character is irrelevant, but Ben said he'll take on the responsibility of the girls. He'll help out with it.
Right. So they bring the girls, drop the girls off. And then this is my favorite, like, doesn't make sense. You want to talk about North Carolina farm?
Yeah.
She just flies to Peru. Ezekiel Sims is chasing them, and she's like, I need answers. She flies, and they treat it, Hassan, you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but they treat it like she went there for the afternoon and came back.
She was gone for a week, is what they say. But it's not treated like that.
No.
It's not written like that. Also, she's clearly on the lam, right? Like they think she might have kidnapped these girls. The police are quote unquote after her, right? But somehow, in a stolen cab, she goes to the airport, parks the stolen cab, gets on a plane, flies to the Amazon, has money to do so. She's an EMT, dude. She has no money. She was in the foster care system. She has nothing.
Yeah.
So, she flies there. She goes to meet the Las Arañas, the indigenous spider guy. But don't worry, he's not wearing his indigenous stuff anymore.
Nope.
He's just a guy in clothes.
Just a
Okay.
guy.
All right. Good for
Guy
him.
in clothes. He goes, let me tell you about your mom. Takes her to a magic waterbed, unlocks the rest of her powers, kind of. And you get a background. You get to realize that the reason Dakota Johnson's mom was in the Amazon when she was 9 months pregnant is because Dakota Johnson was a baby that was going to die because of birth defects. And the Las Arañas was the last-ditch effort to save her baby. And then when the spider people let the spider bite her in an effort to save her life, effectively saved Dakota Johnson's baby, or Dakota Johnson. I'm so
As a
I'm so
baby,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm losing it. I'm losing it. I hate this movie.
It's
I
just
hate this
so
movie
out
so
of
much.
place and random. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to go here for a week. And the movie doesn't treat it like she's
It
gone for a
treats
week.
it like a day. It treats it like a
It's
one
like she was
day
gone
thing.
for the afternoon.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
He
Well,
watched these
'cause
three
that's-
kidnapped kids.
Well, she only gets like an afternoon's worth of information.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, but she spends a week like wandering Peru, just hoping to find information about.
Well,
a
that's
thing
just
that
it too.
happened
Like,
20
how
years
did she
ago.
know where to go? That guy's been standing at the old campsite for the last 20 years. Like,
Waiting for her.
Well, at Benny, they have a line to explain that. He said, when she's a baby, he goes, one day she will come back here to learn, and we will be waiting to tell her the truth.
Can you
Well,
imagine?
it's like I saw people complaining that they didn't even mention that she had the ability to be in 3 places at once, and that's that location's the one line. You will eventually unlock abilities to be in multiple places at once. Like, and that's it. Oh, okay, so it makes sense. The ending makes sense now. We're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
the
like
ending
that,
so
like
makes
with
sense.
all the rewrites and the reason he's in the suit, that was the scene to exposition dump all the new shit they needed, so that the movie could make sense.
Oh, I
Right.
hate this movie, guys.
Would it surprise you to know that the director of this movie has never made a movie before?
Oh, this was their first movie. Yeah,
Here's the thing. I'm
she's
sorry.
TV. Yeah, she films TV,
Yeah.
Oh.
which explains why it looks like a CW show.
Go
Exactly.
back to TV. Actually, don't quit. Quit.
She was a.
She did Jessica Jones, Defenders, Game of Thrones, Ugly Betty, Life on
She's done
Mars,
some good
like-
shows.
Yeah, well, it's TV. She did House. But like, oh, by the way, it's not like she did like full ass like stints on these shows. We're talking 1 episode, 2 episodes, 3 episodes.
I see why they
Yeah,
didn't
I
hire
was
her.
noticing that because they mentioned that she, like, one of the things was, she is one of the directors for Succession, and I'm like, it's 1 episode.
Here's the thing. Well, we often will be like, giving a TV guy a movie is a bad idea. Never forget, Russo brothers were on Community and
Exactly.
Arrested Development, and then did Winter Soldier, and they hit it out of the park.
Yep.
These directors are just talentless hacks with studios up their butt, too.
Mhm.
To be fair, and the guy who wrote it wrote a bunch of other trash too. If we
Right,
recall,
right.
I don't
But-
remember what other movies. Benny, look it up.
But
Well,
what
because I'm sure you
is
have a screen open.
the post credit scene for Madam Web?
There is
There's
none.
none.
They don't do that.
So what happens is she comes back from Peru. Conveniently, Mary Parker's going to give birth. So now everyone piles into the cab so that they can make it across New York to go drive. Instead of calling 911 or getting Mary Parker away from the 3 girls that are trying to be murdered.
Well, because they shot a different movie.
Right. We got to put them all in the same car, which I think is a part of the original plot in the original scenes. Because why would the girls be in the car with Mary Parker if they were protecting her?
Right. Like they're protecting her. That's why they're there. But in the new movie, Mary Parker has nothing to do with anything. They're going to kill.
They're also not protecting her. They're a nuisance. They don't have powers.
Right. Why would
no one has powers? They all go for the final fight with Ezekiel Sims.
We're forgetting to tell Sal about the most important part of the plot: CPR.
Oh yeah, CPR. CPR.
So there is a scene after the woods, after the car crash sequence, before she leaves to Peru, where it's really important for Dakota Johnson to teach these 3 girls CPR. It's not set up. There's no explanation as to why. And then you get this incredibly sexual scene with mood lighting of these girls instead of like on their knees on top doing this. And they're moaning and they're taking turns. Okay, when you get tired, you tap her in. And then like the camera is the kind of camera that looks like this action there for a lot of that. It is the most overtly sexual scene, no place in the movie. And then fast forward later to this sequence where
big fight happens. Big fight. Okay. And the fight that happens is Ezekiel's trying to kill the girls.
Right.
So like there's sparks and all kinds of stuff. And now Cassie can control her powers. So she grabs the most prop looking piece of metal I've ever seen and turns into Captain America briefly, where she knows exactly where all the sparks are coming from to protect the girls. Then they all somehow get separated because they try to distract Ezekiel. And then there's like a big explosion, and he's like, "You can't save all 3 of them." And Cassie's like, "Look at my power to separate into 3 places at once." And then drops the sign at Ezekiel, and that's the fight.
A Pepsi sign, by the way. Product placement. It is a very classic Sony product placement movie, by the way.
Oh, Pepsi is everywhere.
I've heard that.
Pepsi
Yeah,
is
I've seen
everywhere.
pictures of like her holding the can with the
that
label
they've
out
like
and everything.
up the vibrancy of while lowering the vibrancy of everything else in the scene, so you can tell that's a blue Pepsi can right there.
Yeah, we get it, man.
So
it's a thing that no one chooses to drink. But no.
Well, and in that same way, the villain is killed by the Pepsi logo.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like you're the hero of the
There's
movie.
no actual fight.
Right.
Like there's no kung fu battle. She doesn't learn anything. She blocks with a shield and then just saves the 3 girls, killing
And then
Ezekiel.
she falls down into the water, is drowning, and then a bottle rocket goes down in the water, burns her eyes. She goes blind.
That's where the blindness comes from.
They go like, "Oh yeah, by the way, she has to be blind by the end." Oh crap!
And she also got hit by debris. And then don't worry,
which is what paralyzed her.
Sydney Sweeney's Julia, whatever her name is, Julia.
Not Carpenter, yeah.
Who cares? Swims down, grabs her, saves her, and then we have the real movie Sony wanted to make: soaking wet Sydney Sweeney and Dakota Johnson hanging out. They give her some sexual CPR. She wakes up. Now her eyes are glassy because she's blind. And then it cuts to the forward where she's in a wheelchair with the Madame Web glasses, looking out the window at this new window that wasn't in her apartment before, by the way. New apartment.
She has a new bay window.
Yeah, new big window, staring out. She rolls over in her wheelchair. It's an electric wheelchair, so rolls over. The girls come in to give her some takeout, and she goes, "Bless you." And then one of them sees it. She goes, "Oh, thank you," because now she sees the future, and they're okay with it. And at some point, one of them says, "Oh yeah, Ben's loving being an uncle, all the fun, none of the responsibility." And then she's like, "So he thinks." It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
That's super dumb.
And
also,
then the movie ends.
The movie
ends on a scene of, we get the same scene we've had, the 3 girls in costume on the roof. But now
we have
there's
CGI.
like a transposed CGI Madame Web floating over them.
Yes.
Awesome.
And then also, we missed one final joke that's in the very beginning of the movie. But Dakota Johnson's character has a line to Uncle Ben that, what, you've never been shot in Queens? To reference when one day he will be shot in Queens and killed.
Yeah. No, and there's also like when you have responsibility, it will give you great power or something like that.
Yeah, it's
like the worst.
If you take on the responsibility, great power will come.
That's the line.
No, it won't.
Yes.
That doesn't mean
That's
anything.
not how that works.
That's not how anything works. It's the dumbest thing
real
I've ever heard.
stupid. It's delivered by the indigenous guy.
Awesome.
I think.
Dude, not even anyone significant. It's just the guy who's exposition dumping everything else in the movie.
He's the closest thing to Spider-Man we get in this movie.
Yeah,
honestly. Yeah, the movie
So,
sucked,
Sal,
man.
did this make you want to go see the movie?
Surprisingly enough, no. But I will say that I was never going to, so it worked out great.
You were
Yeah.
supposed to when I
know.
did.
I know. I'm sorry. I was literally gonna watch it the next day, and I went to go look for it, and it was gone. So I was like, "This is a sign."
Okay.
Maybe Madam Web herself contacted me and told me not to see it.
Amazing. Well, she doesn't do that in this movie. She doesn't contact people. She just kind of
Oh, she just
knows the
says
future.
things vaguely.
Yeah. Well, it's okay.
Cool.
You can watch you can watch my 55-minute high journey watching the movie and explaining the plot while I'm on many things that mess with my brain.
I love
Best
it.
way to put it.
Can't wait.
It's so funny because I rewatched some of the footage of that. I get sober randomly while explaining the plot because I get so angry it brings me to sobriety. I will literally be like, "Oh, the movie's kind of crazy," and then Dakota Johnson, and I just start yelling. But that's it. This
Yeah.
is the video, guys.
That's awesome.
Benny, roll us out of this
Yeah.
nightmare.
Miss out.
We done.